Hi guys, I'm giving you a little update on my research onto the precession and or the trepidation of the equinoxes. Um, there's a lot to cover there. There's the Iranian astronomers, then there's the Spanish astronomers. Actually, this guy Petrus Alfonsi was a born Jew converted to Christian astronomer who believed in trepidation. And I think I'm starting. No, I'm not there yet. But I think this is what's going on. Basically, is see back in the day, a couple thousand years ago, or even earlier. I mean, even later. Like Alfonsi lived in the 1100. They noted that the head of the constellation Aries was the first day of spring. That's why they call it Aries. Aries means arise, or April means to open, so it's the beginning of. And when they studied the sky, this is just my guess right now. Here's my NLM animation again. You see March, April, May, June, July. I don't think they started the first day of spring when the sun crossed the latitudinal coordinate, i.e. the equator, but I think they started with the meridian, the longitudinal coordinate. And so you see my analemma here. Aries, April 15th about, April 12th to 15th, that's when it begins to cross over the 0 degree or the 0 hour mark. And so I think in the ancient time that was considered the first day of spring. So in other words, it would start here, April, May, June, and then it would finish up again when it crossed over again like that. And so nowadays they will tell you, oh, well, 2,000 years ago, yeah. So now the sun is precessed over it to March. So now March is the first day of spring. No, that March is just the time when the sun crosses over the latitude, the 0 degree latitude. So there was a switch. So if you look at in your astronomy program or whatever, you'll notice that the constellation which you were born in, that's not when the sun, like say I was born December 31st, right? December 31st. The sun's in Sagittarius. I'm a Capricorn, So it's shifted 1 month off. And so I think they changed the seasons like that over time. Back in the day, they measured the first day of spring not when the sun crossed the latitude, but when it crossed the longitude, when it finished up again. Just kind of like you're finishing up a finish line here. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, precession is not, it's not a factor. It's not happening. There's no precession. I maintain my stance that the sun has to stay halfway between the Milky Way band during the equinoxes. Okay? So the equinoxes, in this case, I'm talking about the latitudinal equinoxes, okay? Back in the ancient times, I don't really think they studied, or they counted the declination of the sun. So I think they started here. So there's no precession going on. If anything, there's varied fluctuations, which today they call gravitational fluctuations, or gravitational perturbations. There's that one graphic here. Difference between mean vernal equinox year and actual vernal equinox year. So every year the sun is fluctuating. Sometimes it's faster. This is minutes. So like sometimes it's 10 minutes faster, sometimes it's 10 minutes slower, or 15 minutes, or 15 slower. So that's what's happening, but it's always staying halfway between. The sun is always staying. So I think I solved it here. There's no precession of the equinoxes. That is a myth. That's religion. It's a religion of heliocentricity. It's a religion of, well, I think it originally just started off as a mistake because they saw the varied fluctuations of the sun. And they concluded, okay, this year the sun is 10 minutes faster, and the second year, oh, the sun is another, it was 10 minutes, it was 9 minutes faster. Okay, there's a varied fluctuation there, but it's still progressing in a linear fashion. And then they would notice that it goes back. So that's why they said, well, there must be trepidation then. It's going the other way now. So the sun is just doing this from year to year, but it's always staying halfway between the Milky Way band during the equinox. That goes for both the spring and the fall equinox. It's always staying halfway between. That's the way it works. It's simple. Okay, I'll keep you posted. I'm sure there's going to be some updates on this issue for me because I'm still studying. I'm still working this out. But that's where I stand right now. I think in the old days, they started the first day of spring, not when the sun was at the equator, but when the sun was at the longitudinal meridian. Okay?